They say the darkest hour is just before the dawn. For Amara Agaku, that darkness smelled of filth and betrayal. Locked in a pig pen, 8 months pregnant and in active labor, she listened to the man she loved laughing with his friends just a few yards away. Idoko Agbadu thought he had won. He thought he had finally broken the poor secretary he married. But Idoko made one fatal mistake. He forgot that you can't lock up an empire. While Idoko was celebrating a promotion at a company he didn't know his wife owned, the Agaku rescue team was already at the gates. The secret is out. The Empress is free. And Monday morning, Idoko is going to find out that the woman he treated like an animal is the woman who holds his entire life in her hands. Quickly like and subscribe. Let's continue to the conclusion of the most legendary downfall in history. Let's pick up exactly where we left off. Idoko and his friends were drinking a few yards away in the living room and they were making jokes. Women need discipline, she heard Idoko say loudly. My father always said that. Spare the rod, spoil the wife. More laughter. And Amara screamed until her voice gave out. Screamed until her throat was raw.
Somebody help me,
Screamed
please.
until she had no more sound left. Then she cried. She cried for hours in that disgusting place, surrounded by filth and darkness, her unborn baby kicking frantically inside her. This was it. This was the bottom, the absolute lowest point of her life. A woman worth 47 billion naira, the owner of the company her husband worked for, the heiress to an empire that could buy this entire neighborhood 100 times over. Locked in a pig pen like an animal. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell quickly. Because what happens next will be the beginning of the most magnificent turnout you've ever witnessed. Tell us where you are watching from in the comment box. Around 2 a.m., Amara's water broke. At first, as she thought she'd wet herself from fear and stress. Then the contraction started. No, she whispered in the darkness. No, 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 not now, not here. Please, God, not here. But her body didn't care about timing, didn't care about location. The baby was coming. Amara screamed. Not for Idoko. She knew he wouldn't help. She screamed for anyone. For help. A neighbor, Mrs. Yaki, heard the screaming. She came close to the house and peeped over the fence. She saw the pig pen door locked from the outside. Who's in there? She called out. Help me, Amara screamed. I'm in labor, please. Mrs. Yaki ran to get her husband. Together they broke the lock and pulled the door open. What they saw horrified them. Amara, 8 months pregnant, covered in filth, in active labor, surrounded by the most degrading conditions imaginable. Sweet Jesus, Mrs. Jackie breathed. Who did this to you? My husband, Amara gasped between contractions. Your husband, Mr. Jackie roared. I'm calling the police. This is criminal. No, hospital. Please, the baby. Mrs. Jackie made a split-second decision. She pulled out her phone and dialed emergency services. But she also dialed another number. You see, Mrs. Jackie had a daughter who worked as a receptionist at Agaku Industries headquarters. And she'd heard stories, whispers, about a secret heiress, about a woman named Amara who disappeared into a simple life. She didn't know for sure. But something about this Amara, this abused pregnant woman locked in a pig pen, triggered her memory. Kioma, she said when her daughter answered. I need you to call your CEO, Auntie Tabitha. Tell her I found Amara and she's in labor, in a pig pen. Tell her to come now. Within 15 minutes, 15 miraculous minutes, 3 vehicles screeched to a stop outside the apartment building. An ambulance, a black Mercedes S-Class, and a Land Cruiser filled with private security. Auntie Tabitha Dofi emerged from the Mercedes like an avenging angel. She was dressed in an expensive suit, her face a mask of cold fury. She stormed to the pigpen, her security team clearing the way. When she saw Amara, her beloved Chief Agaku's daughter, the owner of a billion-dollar empire, the woman she'd sworn to protect, lying in filth, in labor, locked up like an animal, Auntie Tabitha's face became stone. "Get her to the hospital," she commanded. Her voice was ice. VIP suite, full medical team, spare no expense. They loaded Amara onto a stretcher, starting an IV immediately. "Auntie," Amara whispered weakly. "Shh, child. Save your strength. Everything's going to be all right now. I promise you." As the ambulance pulled away, Auntie Tabitha turned to her security chief, a massive man named Mr. Ado. "That apartment, the man inside, his name is Idoko Agbadu. I want him watched. Monitor everything he does until Monday. Is that clear?" "Crystal clear, ma'am." "Good, because very soon that man is going to learn the most expensive lesson of his pathetic life." Amara gave birth at 6:47 a.m. in the VIP maternity suite of Lagos Premier Hospital, the most expensive medical facility in West Africa, a facility owned by Agaku Healthcare Holdings. Everything Idoko's insurance could never afford. The room was magnificent, private, spacious, with equipment worth millions. Chief Dr. Adeyemi, the hospital's most senior obstetrician, delivered the baby personally. Auntie Tabitha had called him at 3 a.m. and he'd come immediately. Because when the CEO of Agaku Industries calls, you don't ask questions, you respond. "It's a girl," Dr. Adeyemi announced, placing the crying infant on Amara's chest. "Healthy, perfect, a miracle considering what she endured." Amara looked at her daughter, tiny, beautiful, perfect, and burst into tears. "Kikun, I'm sorry," she whispered to her baby. "I'm so sorry for everything you went through. But I promise you will never experience anything like that again." Auntie Tabitha stood beside the bed, tears streaming down her own face. "What will you name her?" she asked softly. "Chidinma," Amara said without hesitation. "God is good, because despite everything, she's here, she's safe, she's perfect." "Chidinma," Auntie Tabitha repeated, touching the baby's tiny hand. "Welcome to the Agaku family, little one. You have no idea the empire you've been born into." After Amara had rested for a few hours, Auntie Tabitha pulled up a chair beside her bed. "We need to talk," she said gently, "about what happens next." Amara nodded, breastfeeding baby Chidinma. "I know. That man is done," Amara finished. Her voice was different now, harder, colder. "I'm done playing the humble wife. I'm done hiding who I am. I'm done being abused. Thank God," Auntie Tabitha breathed. "So what do you want to do?" Amara's eyes, which had been soft and broken for so long, now blazed with something new. "Not rage, not revenge, justice. I want him to understand," Amara said slowly, "exactly who I am, exactly what he's done, and exactly what he's lost." "When?" "Monday, tomorrow is Saturday. Give him the weekend to wonder where I am, to panic, to question. Then Monday morning," Amara smiled, a cold, dangerous smile. "Monday morning, he's going to get the shock of his miserable life." Auntie Tabitha grinned. "Oh, this is going to be glorious." Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Idoko woke up Saturday morning with a pounding headache. Too much beer. He stumbled out of bed, expecting to find Amara preparing breakfast. The apartment was empty. "Amara," he called out. Silence. He checked the bathroom, the kitchen, even looked in the closet. Gone. Then he remembered. the pigpen. Stupid woman probably cried herself to sleep, he muttered, heading outside. But when he reached the pigpen, the door was open. Broken lock lying on the ground. Empty. Panic started to creep in. He checked with the neighbors. Mrs. Jackie answered her door with a look of pure disgust on her face. "Where is my wife?" Idoko demanded. "Your wife?" Mrs. Jackie's voice dripped with contempt. "You mean the woman you locked in a pig pen while she was 8 months pregnant? That's none of your business. Where is she?" "She went to the hospital in labor because of what you did to her." Idoko's face went pale. "Hospital? Which hospital?" "I don't know, and I wouldn't tell you if I did, you monster." She slammed the door in his face. Idoko tried calling Amara's phone, straight to voicemail. He called every hospital in the area. None of them had an Amara Agbadu registered, because she hadn't registered under that name. She'd registered under her real name, Amara Agaku, heiress, owner, empress. But Idoko didn't know that. So he spent the entire weekend in a state of growing panic, wondering where his wife was, whether the baby was okay, and why no one would tell him anything. He tried calling his mother. "Mama, Amara is missing. She went into labor and I can't find her." "Maybe she finally got smart and left you," Mama Idoko said dismissively. "This is serious. What if something happens? What if she tries to make trouble for me?" "Trouble? What trouble can she make? She has nothing, no money, no family, no power. No, you're worrying over nothing. Can you even believe how unsuspecting she is? Drop a comment if you think Mama Idoko is about to get a wake-up call she'll never forget." Idoko barely slept all weekend. By Monday morning, he was a wreck, but he had to go to work, had to maintain normalcy. He'd just been promoted. He couldn't risk losing his new position by missing days. He showered, dressed in his best suit, and headed to Agaku Manufacturing Division headquarters. He had no idea what was waiting for him. Absolutely no idea. Monday, 9 a.m. Idoko walked into Agaku Manufacturing headquarters feeling anxious but trying to appear normal. His secretary greeted him with an odd expression. "Good morning, Mr. Agbadu. There's been a change to today's schedule." "What change?" "All senior managers have been called to an emergency meeting in the main conference room, 9:30 sharp." "What's it about?" I don't know, sir. The message came from corporate headquarters, from the CEO's office." Idoko frowned. Since he started working for Agaku Industries, he'd never had direct communication from corporate headquarters. The CEO was a mysterious figure, Auntie Tabitha Dolphy. Nobody ever saw her. She ran the empire from behind the scenes. "Fine," Idoko said. "Let me know if my wife calls." "Your wife, sir?" "Yes, she had a medical situation. If anyone calls asking for me, put them through immediately." At 9:30 a.m., Idoko entered the conference room with about 20 other senior managers. The mood was tense, uncertain. "What's this about?" someone whispered. "No idea. Maybe layoffs? Maybe a merger." At exactly 9:35 a.m., the conference room doors opened, and Auntie Tabitha Dolphy walked in. She was magnificent, expensive designer suit, diamond jewelry, presence that commanded respect. Behind her walked a team of lawyers, each carrying thick folders. "Good morning, gentlemen," Auntie Tabitha said, her voice cold and professional. "I am Tabitha Dolphy, CEO of Agaku Industries. Most of you have never met me in person. Today, that changes. Everyone sat up straighter. This meeting has been called to address a serious matter, a matter of employee conduct, of criminal behavior, of actions so vile that they bring shame to this entire organization. Murmurs rippled through the room. Auntie Tabitha's eyes scanned the faces until they landed on Idoko and stayed there. "Mr. Idoko Agbadu," she said. "Please stand." Idoko stood, confused and increasingly nervous. "Yes, ma'am?" "Mr. Agbadu, how long have you worked for Agaku Industries?" 3 months, ma'am. I was recently hired as a senior manager." "And in those 3 months, have you familiarized yourself with our company's code of conduct?" "Yes, ma'am." "Then you're aware that Agaku Industries has a zero-tolerance policy for domestic violence, for abuse, for any form of harm inflicted upon family members by our employees." The room went dead silent. Idoko's face drained of color. I don't understand." "Let me be crystal clear," Auntie Tabitha interrupted, her voice like steel. "This past Thursday evening, you locked your 8-month pregnant wife in a pig pen, a filthy, degrading structure behind your apartment building. But you locked her in there as punishment for dropping a tray of bottles." Gasps filled the room. That's a private matter." "Nothing is private when it involves the safety and well-being of individuals connected to this company." Auntie Tabitha's voice cracked like a whip. "Your wife went into premature labor in that pig pen. She could have died. Her baby could have died." "How do you even know about this?" Idoko demanded, panic rising in his chest. "Because, Mr. Agbadu, we make it our business to know about the character of people we employ, and your character is reprehensible." She nodded to one of the lawyers, who opened a folder and began reading. "Documented evidence of verbal abuse, 47 incidents. Documented evidence of physical abuse, 12 incidents. Documented evidence of financial control and manipulation, ongoing. For documented evidence of psychological torture, extensive." "That's a lie," Idoko shouted. "Who's making these accusations? My wife? She's a liar. She's trying to..." "Your wife," Auntie Tabitha said coldly, "has said nothing. These reports come from neighbors, from medical professionals, from security footage in your apartment building. Would you like to see it?" A screen descended from the ceiling. Video began to play. Idoko hitting Amara. Idoko screaming at her. Idoko dragging her to the pig pen. The room erupted in shocked whispers. That was taken without my permission. Your apartment building lobby has security cameras, legal security cameras, and they captured everything." Idoko was sweating now. "This is harassment. I have rights. And your wife had rights." Auntie Tabitha's voice thundered through the room. "I have the right to safety, the right to dignity, the right to live without fear. Rights you violated again and again and again." She took a step closer to him. "Effective immediately, Idoko Agbadu. You are terminated from Agaku Industries. Security will escort you from the building. You have 1 hour to clear your desk. You will receive no severance package, no recommendations. And if you attempt to contact your wife or interfere in her life in any way, I will ensure that criminal charges are filed against you." "You can't do this!" Idoko was shaking with rage and fear. "I'll sue. You'll do nothing," Auntie Tabitha said with a terrifying calm. "Because if you do, I will release every piece of evidence we have to the public. Your mother will see what you did. Your friends will see. Your church will see. Everyone will know exactly what kind of a monster you are." She signaled to security guards waiting by the door. "Escort Mr. Agbadu out. He is banned from all Agaku properties effective immediately." As security grabbed his arms, Idoko thrashed, "This isn't fair. You don't even know my wife. Why do you care so much about some..." "Because," Auntie Tabitha interrupted, her eyes blazing, I care about justice, something you clearly know nothing about. Now get out. Idoko was dragged from the room, screaming threats and curses. After he was gone, Auntie Tabitha addressed the remaining managers. Let this be a lesson to all of you. Agaku Industries stands for integrity, for dignity, for the protection of the vulnerable. If any of you engage in similar behavior, you will face similar consequences. Are we clear? Yes, ma'am, came the unified response. Good, this meeting is adjourned. But Auntie Tabitha wasn't done. Oh no, she was just getting started. Because Idoko being fired, that was just the appetizer. The main course was still to come, like subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. The moment when everything comes together. Comment where you are watching from. Idoko was furious. He'd been escorted out of the building like a criminal. His career was destroyed. His reputation was in tatters. And it was all because of Amara. That ungrateful witch, he snarled, sitting in his car in the parking lot. After everything I did for her, I gave her a home, a name, and this is how she repays me. He pulled out his phone and tried calling her again, still straight to voicemail. Then he called his mother. Mama, I was fired. They fired me because of what happened with Amara. What? How did they even find out? I don't know, but I'm going to find her. I'm going to make her pay for this. Yes, Mama Idoko encouraged. Find her. Bring her home. Teach her a lesson about respect. Idoko spent the rest of Monday searching. He went to every hospital he could think of, asked questions, made calls. Nothing. It was as if Amara had vanished into thin air. Tuesday morning, Idoko received a message on his phone. An address, Agaku Towers, Victoria Island, Lagos. Penthouse suite, 10 a.m. Your presence is required. What the hell? Idoko muttered. He almost didn't go. It was probably some legal trap. But curiosity and rage drove him there. Agaku Towers was one of the most prestigious buildings in Lagos. Luxury apartments, now offices for the Agaku corporate headquarters, retail spaces worth millions. Idoko had never been inside, could never afford to be inside. He gave his name to security. Mr. Agbadu, yes, you're expected. Take the private elevator to the penthouse. Expected? By WHO. The elevator ride seemed to take forever. Idoko's mind raced with possibilities. Maybe this was about a severance package after all. Maybe they were afraid he'd sue and wanted to offer a settlement. The elevator doors opened directly into a massive penthouse apartment. Idoko's jaw dropped. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Lagos skyline. Marble floors, expensive artwork on the walls, furniture that cost more than his entire year's salary. Hello, Idoko. He spun around, and there she was, Amara, but not the Amara he knew. This Amara was dressed in an expensive designer outfit. Her hair was professionally styled. She wore jewelry that sparkled in the morning light. She was holding a baby, their baby, in her arms. But more importantly, she was standing with confidence, with power, with an aura of authority that Idoko had never seen before. Amara, he said uncertainly. What? What is this? What are you doing here? I live here, Amara said simply. You... What? This is my home, has been for the past 2 days. Well, one of my homes, I have several. Idoko laughed, nervously. What are you talking about? Stop playing games, we need to go home. We need to talk about what happened. We're not going anywhere, Amara interrupted. And there's nothing to talk about, except the truth. Truth? What truth? Amara smiled, a cold, Rhett's satisfied smile. And the truth about who I really am. She walked to a desk and picked up a folder, handed it to Idoko. Go ahead, read it. With trembling hands, Idoko opened the folder. Inside was a document, an official document with legal stamps and signatures. Certificate of ownership. Agaku Industries Holdings, majority shareholder and primary owner, Amara Agaku. Net worth 47 billion. Naira. Idoko's hands shook. This is fake. Some kind of joke. It's not a joke. Auntie Tabitha's voice came from behind him. He spun around. The CEO from yesterday's meeting stood there, arms crossed, looking at him like he was an insect. That document is authentic, Auntie Tabitha continued. Amara Agaku is the sole heiress to the Agaku Empire. She inherited it from her father, Chief Bartholomew Agaku, 5 years ago. That's impossible, Idoko's voice cracked. She's a nobody. She worked as a secretary. She has no money. I chose to work as a secretary, Amara corrected. I chose to live simply because I wanted to find someone who would love me, not for my money, not for my name, just me. The words hung in the air like thunder. And I thought I found that in you, Amara continued, her voice breaking slightly. I thought you were different. I thought you were kind. I thought you loved me. I do love you, Idoko insisted, his mind racing to process this information. I have a temper sometimes, but you locked me in a pigpen. Amara's voice cracked with emotion. While I was 8 months pregnant, you called me worthless. You hit me. You let your mother abuse me. That's not love. That's torture. But I didn't know. Idoko's eyes were wild now. I didn't know you were rich. If you had known, you would have treated me better. Amara laughed bitterly. That's exactly my point. You didn't love me. You loved the idea of having a wife you could control, a wife you thought had no power, no options. Amara, please, we can work this out. Oh, it gets better, Auntie Tabitha interjected. Tell him, Amara. Tell him where he's been working. Amara's eyes locked onto Idoko's. The company you just got fired from? Agaku Manufacturing Division? It's one of my subsidiaries, one of my companies. You were working for me, Idoko. Your paychecks? Signed by my finance department. Your office? On my property. Your promotion? Approved by my management team. The color drained from Idoko's face completely. Bahai, every time you came home and bragged about your job, your salary, your success, you were bragging about working for your wife. The wife you called worthless. The wife you said was lucky to have you. Idoko stumbled backward, grabbing a chair for support. This can't be real. It's very real, Auntie Tabitha said coldly. And it gets even better. Want to tell him about the apartment, Amara? The apartment we lived in, Amara smiled. I own the building, the entire building. I bought it 3 years ago through one of my property companies. Your rent? It was going into my accounts. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. If you were Amara, what would your next move be? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Idoko sank into the chair, his face in his hands. I didn't know, he whispered. I swear, I didn't know. And that's exactly the problem, Amara's voice rose. You didn't know I had money, so you felt comfortable treating me like garbage. You thought I had no power, so you abused that. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you did it to someone who turned out to be rich. No, that's not. Yes, it is, Amara shouted, tears streaming down her face. If I had been truly poor, truly powerless, you would have continued abusing me. Maybe forever. Maybe until you killed me. The only reason you're sorry now is because I have power. Because I can destroy you. Silence filled the penthouse. Baby Chidima stirred in Amara's arms, making soft cooing sounds. Idoko looked at his daughter, a daughter he'd rejected, called a distraction, told Amara to get rid of. Can I hold her? Idoko asked quietly. No, Amara replied firmly. You lost that right when you locked me in a pigpen and put her life at risk. She's my daughter, he protested. Biologically, yes, but you'll never be her father. A father protects, loves, and provides safety. You did none of those things. Auntie Tabitha stepped forward, handing Idoko divorce papers. Amara is filing for divorce on the grounds of abuse, emotional cruelty, and abandonment. You have 48 hours to sign. And if I don't, Idoko asked weakly. Then we go to court, Auntie Tabitha warned. And every piece of evidence, witness testimony, everything will become public record. Your name will be synonymous with domestic abuse. Amara added, There's a restraining order. You can't come within 500 meters of me or Shidinma. If you do, you'll be arrested. Idoko begged, but Amara interrupted. I begged you to love me, to respect me, to treat me with dignity, and you chose cruelty. She walked closer, looking down at the man who once seemed so powerful. You wanted a wife you could control. Well, now I am the most powerful woman in your life. Auntie Tabitha nodded and called for security. As Idoko was escorted out, he pleaded, Please forgive me. I was wrong. I was a monster. Amara's eyes were full of sadness. I hope you learn from this, but not for me. For the next woman. The elevator doors closed. Idoko was gone from her life forever. 2 days later, Mama Idoko received a call. Mrs. Agbadu, this is Agaku Industries legal department. We need to talk about your son. Mama Idoko, unprepared, was escorted to a conference room where Auntie Tabitha awaited. Are you aware of who Amara really is? Auntie Tabitha asked. Some poor girl, Mama Idoko scoffed. Amara Agaku is the sole heir of Agaku Industries, worth 47 billion naira, Auntie Tabitha revealed. Mama Idoko's shock was palpable. That's impossible. Auntie Tabitha showed photos of Amara at corporate events. This is the woman you insulted, the woman you mocked. Mama Idoko stammered. I didn't know. Of course you didn't, Auntie Tabitha replied. Because Amara chose to live humbly. She chose love over money. And how did your family respond? With abuse. Auntie Tabitha's tone grew cold. Your son and you only respect power and wealth. You disrespected Amara's dignity, and now she can destroy his future. Mama Idoko broke down. I'll do anything. Please forgive us. Auntie Tabitha's response was sharp. Amara is choosing mercy, but there are consequences. Your family is banned from contacting her or Chidinma. Violate this, and you'll face legal action. With that, Mama Idoko was dismissed, shattered. Later, Amara stood in her office holding Chidinma, now safe and loved. Auntie Tabitha reported that Amara's vision for a women's shelter had received praise. It's the least I can do, Amara said softly. I had resources to escape. Most women don't. Her phone buzzed. Divorce finalized, restraining order permanent. You're free, Amara smiled. Free. Idoko was working a low-paying job, living in a one-room apartment. His life had crumbled. Mama Idoko, broken by the truth, was now living with her daughter. 3 months after the divorce, Amara stood at the inauguration of the Agaku Women's Haven. She spoke to the crowd with Chidinma on her hip. I endured violence, but I had resources. Most women don't. By the end of the day, 17 women signed up for the programs. Amara's story had empowered them, not through revenge, but through support and change. 1 year after the divorce, Amara was shopping when she ran into Idoko. He looked worn, dressed in cheap clothes. "You're violating the restraining order," Amara said coldly. He begged for another chance. "You're not sorry for who you were," she replied. "You're sorry for what you lost." She walked away, knowing Idoko would never change. Later, Amara reflected on the encounter. He apologized, but part of me felt sad. For what could have been. Auntie Tabitha's words rang true. You can't mourn who they could have been. Only deal with who they are. 2 years later, Amara's Women's Haven expanded to 7 locations across Africa, for me empowering thousands of women. Amara had turned her pain into purpose. Real power isn't about control. It's about using your resources to build others up, she said. Chidinma hugged her tightly. We have everything, Mommy, Amara smiled. Yes, sweetheart, we do. As they left, Amara's phone rang with congratulations for her national award. She smiled. This was just the beginning. If this story moved you, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more powerful stories. Share with someone who needs to hear this message, and remember, you are powerful. You are worthy. You are enough. Never let anyone make you feel otherwise.